A disclosure or pecuniary interest, you can bring forward now or at any time. I do have one from Councillor Smith related to the Blues Festival, the Wasaga Beach Blues. We have no deputations, petitions or presentations or public meetings. Unfinished business, I don't believe we have any. Other agency reports. We do not have a representative from the OPP here as yet, so we'll call Chief McWilliams to give us an update on fire.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, members of council. So for the month of April, we saw 107 calls for service. There is one structure fire noted. That was out at Park Place. It was fairly minor. It was up in a light fixture outside of the home, so the fire was contained to the outside of the structure, so it really didn't evolve into anything too serious. In our medicals, we've had 2, and I have to hear about a third, possibly 3 defib saves by the fire department before paramedics arrived on scene. So we'll be looking into that, making sure that those people are recognized. Again, it's not a competition, but it's something that I like to note that with our arrival times, we're making a difference with these things. So got letters back from people thanking us and so on. So it's just good news stuff. Very busy with inspections, especially accommodations this time of year, making sure everything is up to code before the long weekend. And had our workplace wellness day a couple weeks ago. Turnout was good. A couple members of council there, and everybody had a good time. And Emergency Preparedness Week, that was recognized last week, so I just wanted to point that out. And that was all, Mr. Chair. Short, sweet.
Is there any questions or comments? Okay. With that, said, moved by
Fulci.
In favor?
Councillor Bray.
In favor?
Councillor Ego.
In favor?
Councillor Smith.
In favor.
Mayor Smith.
In favor?
Councillor Stockwell.
in favor.
Chair Belanger.
In favor.
Thank you. The motion carries on a vote of 7 in favor, 0 opposed.
Okay, we'll now move to item D, consent agenda. I will notate that there's been a number of items pulled for further discussion. The amendment of the parking bylaw, designated areas for free ATV and motorcycle parking, has been pulled by Deputy Mayor. Special events monthly report, also pulled by our Deputy Mayor. Stonebridge Wasaga Beach Blues was pulled by both myself and Councillor Bray. Events, facilities, recreation and department report, pulled by Councillor Bray. And Youth Advisory Council Development, that was pulled by Mayor Brian Smith. And is there any other items that anyone?
Was the Bay Cliff Homes, the 2 reports on that, both?
That is in the development section?
Yeah, okay, we'll get to it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, I see, yeah. Okay. So moved by Ron, Councillor Ego, and seconded by Mayor Smith. Resolved that the Community Service Section of Coordinated Committee does hereby receive the May 11th, 2017 consent agenda, items 3D through 3F, and that the recommendations contained therein be adopted as amended.
Thank you. Members of the committee, having heard the question, I'll call for the vote. Deputy Mayor By Fulci.
In favor?
Councillor Bray.
In favor?
Councillor Ego.
In favor?
Councillor Smith.
In favor.
Mayor Smith.
In favor?
Councillor Stockwell.
In favor?
Chair Belanger.
In favor?
Thank you. The motion carries on a vote of 7 in favor, 0 opposed.
Okay, and I apologize, I did miss that the amended parking bylaw was also pulled by Councillor Bonnie Smith. So That's the first item for discussion. Amend parking bylaw designated areas for free ATV and motorcycle parking. And Deputy Mayor, if you'd like to go.
Sure, thank you. I guess just a comment, I'm struggling with, again, the fair to all type of situation. We're now saying if you drive a motorcycle or an ATV, you can get free parking. I remember Councillor Bray had brought forward something not too long ago for assistance for our residents who may need some help with a parking pass, and that was turned down. So I have no issue with designating certain areas and making spots smaller and finding that, but I do struggle with saying if you drive one of these vehicles, you can park for free. Just a comment.
Any, Councillor Smith?
Okay, thank you. I would echo the Deputy Mayor's comments as well. Where does this begin and end? Because, there are not enough handicap spots down there to start with. And do we add scooters, e-bikes? It could go on, golf carts, whatever. And I don't know where it came from. Maybe Cam could, through you, Mr. Sheriff, maybe Cam could explain where this came from.
Okay. Good morning, everybody.
Morning.
I'm filling in for the role right now for Doug right now. He's away, so go gently. So we've always had problems in the past with motorcycles to where they can put the pay and display tags where because they have to pay, everybody has to pay down there, even with bikes, where they put it on the bike. It's either on the windshield, under the kickstand. We've had issues with that. So Doug decided that there'd be an area designated for just motorcycle parking, ATV parking. It's located in front of 115 Beach Drive, so the blue building right now. So there are spots that have been made down there to accommodate maybe one bike or two. So that area is designated, so it's kind of a first come, first served in there. We're currently looking at maybe another possible area for maybe in front of Bananas or somewhere in that area for the same thing. So it's kind of a first come, first serve. You get in there, and then if it's all filled up, then you got to pay after that.
If I may further to that, Mr. Chair.
Sorry, go
I
ahead.
just wanted further on a comment, if I may.
Yes.
I'm really disappointed that those are in front of the stores, when the handicap accessible people are the ones that should be in front of those buildings, rather than motorcycles and ATVs, because as our population, is aging, some of us are getting older, and, we need handicap parking. And if it was going to be given priority to anybody, I would suggest it would be the handicap accessibility people. So, I don't know where we go with this, but I certainly have some issues with this.
And if I may just speak on that, we have designated more disabled handicap parking on Beach Drive now, and in the lots as well. There are more spots down there now on the Beach Drive. In periodic spots, there are ones in front of where Subway is on Beach Drive. There's a couple more now further up by Bananas and close to the Dard, and also further down in front of 115 Beach Drive where this motorcycle parking is. There are more spots now that have been designated, disabled spots. Also in front of the paddleboard, the blue hut there are more spots there. So there's an additional, I think, don't quote me, but at least 10 spots now that are on Beach Drive that are being designated as disabled spots. And in the lots as well, there are designations for disabled spots.
Thank you. Ron, you had a comment?
Yeah, thank you, through you, Mr. Chair. I agree with the Deputy Mayor and I agree with Councillor. I think this is a bad idea and I think it's just opening a can of worms. So that's my comment.
Anyone else? Mayor Smith?
Thank you, Mr. Chair, through you to Cam. Cam, so what's the solution here? Because I agree with the rest of my colleagues here that, where does it stop? And, ATV is a good example. We have some cars out there, these smart cars that are the same size as an ATV, so do they park for free as well? So What's the solution with, because I understand the problem with bikes, I mean, where do they put it? So do we need to come up with a sticker that they stick on their bike, or?
There might be designated permits for bikes. I'm not too sure where I would want to go with that. Because the disabled, the pay and display stubs, they're not stickered for them. They're just, the normal ones that come out of the machines. So it's always, somewhere along the lines, people that have come back to Wasaga Beach that do own bikes, from speaking to us, telling them what another route that they can go with, how to place it. They've been, bringing up tape from themselves. They've been taping it to their windshield. So I mean, they've been working with it. So it's a process each year. But we're seeing more and more people now, taping them to the windshield. The same thing as convertibles as well. People are doing that as well too. So,
Mr. Chair?
but as for, it might be something that Doug might have to look at again.
Yeah, to that, I just had a couple of comments. It's great that we're in the disabled parking spots, but it is a bit of a tourist thing too, when a lot of the people with fancy cars and fancy bikes, they want to be on Beach Drive. And what you were saying, Mayor Smith, if we had a different annual parking pass, both electronic and other, if it were a sticker, and that it was less money because they're going to be more than one vehicle to a space. And my understanding in reading the report, it's one of our challenges is if someone pays full price, they want to take up the entire space, and we end up being out spaces that could park more vehicles and collect more revenue for the town. So I think what the report said is that we would draw lines and designate maybe 3 bikes to a space or whatever it works out to, but then it just becomes an issue of what do we charge them and how do we charge it. But maybe if it was reasonable enough, it could just be an annual fee so that we don't have to worry about the one-time parker.
Just
Mayor Smith?
further to that, Mr. Chair, if you read the parking bylaws, it designated areas for free ATV and motorcycle parking. And I have a problem with free.
Yep.
So,
Mayor Smith?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I understand what you're saying. I think where we have a problem is we get into a logistics problem here. Prices are different, spaces are different. I mean, I think most communities that I've been to, parking spaces are parking spaces, and if they park 1 bike in it or 5 bikes in it, and they can squeeze them there, the price is what it is. I think if we try to reinvent the wheel here, I think we're gonna create more of an issue for the guys out there and the gals out there pounding the pavement than it's probably worth.
So I'm assuming does anyone want to make a motion on this?
I was just going to speak to that, Mr. Chair. There is no mover of this particular motion. So my sense is, listening to the discussion around the table, is that the recommendation would be defeated. So if there was a mover that was willing to put their name on here so that it could at least be introduced and then be voted upon, and then there'd be a direction to staff. So at this point, it's not been moved by anybody. It's just been seconded.
Oh, I guess I have to read that.
Actually, since you're moving it, Mr. Chair, you would have to step out of the chair. And I'll pass it over to the vice chair.
You can just,
I can stay there?
No, you gotta go back here, too.
have to go stand at the front for you.
Turn left and then
Well,
right,
that's
Joe.
good, because I need to talk to Kevin about something.
So you can just, you want to just read it.
Out of the chair.
Okay, be my pleasure.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Now that we have this meeting under control.
Okay, we're going to start.
Moved by Councillor,
That's me.
seconded by Councillor Ego. Resolved that the Community Service Section and Coordinating Committee does hereby recommend to Council that approve the municipal bylaw Municipal Law Enforcement and Licensing Department request to amend parking bylaw 2007-17 to designate by signage and/or pavement markings specific areas of each 1 and 2 where ATVs and/or motorcycles may, subject to restriction, park for free. Mr. Clerk, call the vote, please.
Thank you, Mr. Acting Chair. Deputy Mayor Byfolchi?
Opposed?
Councillor Bray?
Opposed.
Councillor Ego?
Opposed?
Councillor Smith?
Opposed?
Mayor Smith?
Opposed.
Councillor Belanger?
I signed it, so I can't oppose it, right?
Yeah, you can oppose it.
I can oppose it? I oppose it then?
Okay, and Chair Stockwell?
Opposed.
Thank you. The motion is defeated on a vote of 7-0 in favor and 7 opposed.
And Vice Chair, for the first time having to step in, you did a marvelous job.
First time being advised and I'm the vice chair.
That was pretty good.
That's all right.
You got any good ideas?
Poor guys, they have to come to bring something forward.
Okay, the next item for discussion was special events monthly report. And Deputy Mayor, I believe you were going to comment on that?
Yeah, thank you. Just under the Main Street Market, on page 3, it speaks to the Chamber of Commerce looking one of the kiosks. Now, I remember last year I thought we had an empty kiosk, which is why we said for the Chamber to go in there and fill it up. Now, I'm just looking for clarification. Is this an automatic now that we will be putting the Chamber in there? Are they paying any fees? If they're not paying fees, I believe that every business in town, whether they are part of the Chamber or not, should have the right to display their materials there, since the town would be subsidizing it. It's not just the Chamber. So can you just provide clarity on that?
I will have to look into that. I'm as far as I know, they don't, but I will definitely look into that.
Sorry, they're not going to be paying? Is that
As far as I know, they don't, but I don't deal with the lease agreement, so
right?
I don't see that, but I can find out for you.
And I guess I'll look to the CAO then. I think if the Chamber is just going to automatically be given a kiosk and we're not looking to collect revenue to offset the expenses down there, then I think it needs to be fair to every single business owner. And because not every business is part of the Chamber, and some have reasons for not wanting to be part of it, but I think that they should be allowed to display their material. So if you can look into that, that'd be great.
Mr. Chair, I will follow up with staff and report back.
Okay, is there any other comments or? Okay. Oh, sorry.
Thank you. Yes, I just want clarification from the deputy mayor. If they had a rack with little brochures, would that suffice?
Whatever I would think whatever the Chamber is doing for the other businesses down there
Yeah.
that are members, then all businesses should have that same access to the people that are down there. So if everybody gets their flyers there, then all businesses should have that opportunity.
Any further comments? Okay. Moved by Mayor Smith and seconded by Deputy Mayor Byfolke. Resolved that the Community Service Section of Coordinated Committee does hereby receive the May Special Events Report for information.
Thank you. Having heard the question, I'll call for the vote. Deputy Mayor Byfolchi?
In favor?
Councillor Bray?
In favor?
Councillor Ego?
In favor?
Councillor Smith?
Oh, sorry, in favor.
Thank you. Mayor Smith?
In favor?
Councillor Stockwell?
Favor.
Chair Belanger?
In favor?
Thank you. The motion carries on a vote of 7 in favor, 0 opposed.
Okay, moving to Stonebridge Wasaga Beach Blues. This was Councillor Bray. You would like to comment?
Yep, thank you. Just finishing one.
I was going to read it myself.
Thank you. I had a question that I did receive clarity from our special events coordinator, and that had to do with the in-kind sponsorship. Historically, when the council has committed to a donation of $10,000 or $20,000, and that there was in-kind, that was deducted from the $20,000 donation, whereas in this case we're adding more than 10%. I think it's about $2,700. So the total donation comes up to 22.7, I think,
Yeah.
20, yeah. Anyways, I just had concerns that we had approved 20,000. You know, it's the 7th year in a row that we've been providing sponsorship, and it's growing instead of receding. So the concept of seed money, which was how that was presented 7 years ago, you know, it's not being phased out. It seems to be increasing. So I just have a concern about that.
Would you like to comment on that?
That's basically how we've done it. Last year, we also had additional in-kind sponsorship of the town staff going and picking up fencing from another location. So that was approximately $2,000 additional. That's not happening this year. So we have decreased at least that amount of in-kind sponsorship to the committee. They are aware that in the future we are going to be decreasing the sponsorship. We have allotted the 20,000 in there. We have allowed them to use our stage in the past as well, in addition to the 20,000. But we have been working with the chair of the committee and have identified that in the future the sponsorship will be decreasing.
Deputy Mayor?
And just, and staff knows I bring this up every year because, and Councilor Bray's already spoken to it, but yeah, it was supposed to be seed money. It was supposed to decrease, and over the years it just kept increasing. So I do have an issue with it.
Any other comments before? I would just like to comment, as previously serving on a committee related to this event, the in-kind actually is reducing every year. In the previous years, they also included the Recflex that was now paid for, and as you say, the $2,000 for the fencing, and so there is a path of reduction. I had pulled this item as well for two reasons. One, a number of residents had contacted me and requested if the town's Moby mat could possibly be used at the event for improved wheelchair access. So I don't know if we need to, how we go about taking that under consideration. And the other thing is, we had been talking for quite some time about multi-year approvals for events. And sorry, did someone have a comment? Oh,
No, are you
Councilor
finished?
Eagle?
No, I'll wait till you're finished.
no, go ahead, sorry.
For your, excuse me, Mr. Chair, I think, believe it or not, the comment about the Moby mats, I think through the CIO, I think that's the responsibility of the MNR, is it not? They're responsible for the Moby mats?
Thank you, through you, Mr. Chair. Yes, they maintain them and whatnot, but the date of this this event is in September, so the Moby mats typically are put away for storage in the after the season, so whether they'd be available or not, we'd have to look into.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's the Ministry of Natural Resources, Ontario Parks, that looks after the
Yeah,
maintenance.
thank you.
Go ahead.
You do, Mr. Chair. Yeah, as we've spoken in the past about this, and I agree that we've discussed this many times about organizations and seed money. And this one here especially has been discussed quite a few times. I'd be willing to support it this year, but I think in the future we have to seriously look at decreasing these organizations when it comes to seed money, because as we stated, how many years can this go on at the same? And sooner or later these organizations have to be able to stand on their own feet, or else they're not worthwhile getting involved in, as far as I'm concerned. Thank you.
Angela, I believe you had a comment.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just to your comment about the Moby mat, I have been in touch with Ontario Parks about that, so I'm just waiting for a response back from them.
Okay, thank you. Any consideration for, well, I guess based on Councillor Eagle's comments, we would not want to consider a multi-year approval? Or is anybody interested in just any comments on that?
Sorry, thank you, Mr. Chair. We do have our policy that does state that any event that is in good standing have a multi-year approval in principle. So this is already approved in principle based on their good standing from last year. But because of the fact that they want a road closure and sponsorship money and in-kind donation, I had to bring it to committee for consideration.
Okay, thank you, that explains it. Okay.
Question, Mr. Chair.
Sorry.
Multi-year
Counselor.
approval on what? Money or operation?
I believe that Angela answered the question pretty well, that is when the things, road closures and money are involved, it would come to council annually.
Anyway, okay.
Okay, moved by Councillor Ego and seconded by Councillor Stockwell. Resolved that the Community Service Section of the Coordinated Committee does hereby recommend to council that it approve the hosting of the 7th Annual Stonebridge Wasaga Beach Blues Festival at Stonebridge Town Center Music Pavilion, September 16th and 17th, 2017. And further that Stonebridge Boulevard be closed from the Dollar Tree entrance to the Walmart entrance from Friday, September 15th, 2017 at 8:30 a.m. until Monday, September 18th, 2017 at 9 a.m. And further that a $20,000 sponsorship be provided to Stonebridge Wasaga Beach Blues Committee to assist offsetting associated festival costs. And further that the town's SL100 stage, large event tent, and 6 10x10 tents be provided as in-kind sponsorship.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Members of the committee, having heard the question, I'll call for the vote. Deputy Mayor Byfochi.
Opposed?
Councillor Bray.
Opposed?
Councillor Ego.
In favor?
Councillor Smith.
I'm
Oh, sorry, you're,
Abstaining.
yeah, sorry. Mayor Smith.
In favor?
Councillor Stockwell.
Favor.
Councillor Belanger.
In favor?
Thank you. The motion carries on a vote of 4 in favor and 2 opposed with 1 declaration of conflict. Thank you.
Okay, the next item is Events, Facilities, and Recreation Department report. And Councillor Bray, I believe you have comment on this?
I do have a couple of comments. One that this Saturday is the awards day, and I just wanted to apologize to the citizens, the very deserving citizens that will be recognized, as I am not able to attend, but I think it's a great event. Then I had a question about the recreation program and community events advertising. There's a note in there that community events will be running weekly banner ads in the Enterprise Bulletin based on a discussion with a Enterprise Bulletin sales rep. And I just wondered that there had been a request come to this table to talk about all advertising, so I'm surprised we would be signing one-year contracts when we were looking at town advertising and dollars, and I'm just not sure if it's set in stone and it's done, or if there's still room to be considered in the RFP that's being worked on.
Can I go?
Yes.
Yeah.
Go ahead, thank you.
So it is the recreation coordinator that's been coordinating that. I can take that concern back to him, and maybe you can connect with, I guess, the communications officer on that. Thank you.
Deputy Mayor?
And I think one of the other things to take into consideration is that the Enterprise Bulletin does not get delivered throughout our entire town. The West End gets it, East End does not, and I don't know where it stops, but I know that the whole town does not get it. So I think when we are advertising, if we're trying to reach our community, it needs to be in something that everybody gets.
Okay.
Any other further comments? Or? I just have a question. We have requested an RFP go out related to advertising, but in previous years, is this something where you would go out and price what advertising you need and make a decision as you have this year?
Yes, actually, excuse me, generally we go from event to event and program to program, and we advertise them all individually by individual ads for each program, each event. So what the recreation coordinator has been trying to do is amalgamate it all into maybe hopefully a smaller price and into a more branded and recognizable advertising campaign all year round. Did that answer your question?
Yes, CEO.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'm not aware of a contract with the Enterprise Bulletin. There may have been arrangement, there may have been an agreement of some sort in terms of a price for placement of multiple ads, but I'm not aware of a contract. So I'll follow up as well, and just to to confirm what arrangement has been made. It may have been just a bulk purchase, as the youth coordinator has indicated, for a period of time. So, but we've had conversations with the communications coordinator, and that's certainly on his list of initiatives as the RFP for the town's communication and advertising.
Councillor Smith?
Thank you. I have a comment, if I may. I realize I don't get the paper either at Park Place. Occasionally, once every 6 weeks, we might get it, but we don't get it regularly. My comment is, I think we're losing sight of the Enterprise Bulletin going outside of the area, so people in Collingwood would know that we have an event on the weekend, and perhaps bring people in from the other areas that the Enterprise Bulletin serves. I realize we need to serve our community with what's going on, but I also think that the Enterprise Bulletin is probably a fair price for reaching more people outside of the town.
Councillor Bray?
Yeah, and just my comment to that is that this is Parks and Recreation, which is more the internal events for our residents. So I just question the choice. I believe for economic development or special events, maybe the Enterprise Bulletin, but I think for local, we probably should use local.
Through you, Mr. Chair, I do know that the recreation coordinator does plan on opening the banner up to the special events department as well to use for advertising. That was in his planning eventually.
Any other comments? Just to comment, I'm also on the East End. I get the paper weekly in my subdivision. Michael, hopefully you've taken a couple of notes there. Certainly that needs to be a consideration with whatever decision we make. We want all of our residents to receive the information. So.
Nice.
Moved by Mayor Smith and seconded by Councillor Bray. Resolved that the Community Service section of the Coordinated Committee does hereby receive the Events, Facilities, and Recreation Monthly Activity Report as information.
Thank you. Having heard the question, I'll call for the vote. Deputy Mayor Byfolchi.
In favor?
Councillor Bray.
In favor?
Councillor Eagle.
In favor?
Councillor Smith.
In favor.
Mayor Smith.
In favor?
Councillor Stockwell.
In favor.
Chair Belanger.
In favor?
Thank you. The motion carries on a vote of 7 opposed.
Okay, and this is the final item to be pulled, and it's a Youth Advisory Council Development. And I believe Mayor Smith, you have comment on this?
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. I do, just through you to Shelley, I just wanted to commend Shelley and her staff for doing such an amazing job that they do with our youth in Wasaga Beach, and I think this is an absolute amazing initiative. To be able to have a youth advisory council to advise council of the importance of youth in our community and what it is that youth are looking for, I think is a great step forward. So good job on Shelley and her staff, and looking forward to seeing this implemented.
Okay, thank you. Deputy Mayor?
Thank you. Just to say, this was something that I remember hearing about years ago, so again, it's really good to see it coming forward. I think the youth have a lot to offer.
Yeah, and, thank you. And I would also comment, at the recent event in the awards night, amazing job, and you could certainly see that many of our youth were extremely proud, and I think it'll only motivate them to become more engaged and volunteer more in their community. So, excellent.
Absolutely.
Moved by Deputy Mayor Byfolchi and seconded by Councillor Bray. Resolved that the Community Service section of the Coordinated Committee recommend to Council that Mayor Brian Smith endorse the Memorandum of Understanding from Parks and Recreation Ontario Pro regarding the Playworks Youth Engagement Project Youth Advisory Council Development for 2017, and further the town accept $3,250 in funding from Pro towards the development and 1 year expense of a Town of Wasaga Beach Youth Advisory Council, and further that staff be directed to move forward with the establishment of a Youth Advisory Council as an advisory committee of council.
Thank you. Members of committee, having heard the question, I'll call for the vote. Deputy Mayor Byfolchi.
In favor?
Councillor Bray.
In favor?
Councillor Ego.
In favor.
Councillor Smith.
In favor?
Mayor Smith.
In favor?
Councillor Stockwell.
Favor.
Chair Belanger.
In favor.
Thank you. The motion carries on a vote of seven in favor and 0 opposed.
Sir.
Mr. Chair, this is the OPP report.
Okay. Moved by Mayor Smith and seconded by Deputy Mayor Byfolchi, resolved that the Community Service section of the Coordinated Committee does hereby receive the March 2017 Huronia West Police Services Board Report for information.
Thank you. Having heard the question, I'll
Mr.
call
Chair?
for...
Oh, sorry. Yes, Mayor Smith?
Thank you. Just a quick comment, if I may. I think it's important that maybe we give some direction to staff to contact the detachment commander. I think it's extremely important that the OPP be here and give us their report on a monthly basis, and this is not the first time this year that we haven't either seen them or they've been late, which I understand they're busy, but they know this is a monthly event and it's extremely important to get those reports. So if we could reach out to them, that would be great.
Thank you.
Thank you. Having heard the question, I'll call for the vote. Deputy Mayor Byfolchi.
In favor?
Councillor Bray.
In favor?
Councillor Ego.
In favor.
Councillor Smith.
In favor?
Mayor Smith.
In favor?
Councillor Stockwell.
Favor.
Chair Belanger.
In favor?
Thank you. The motion carries on a vote of 7 in favor, 0 opposed.
Okay, if there's no further comment, I believe this ends the Community Service section of Coordinated Committees. So, 15, 10.
of coordinated committee. I'll ask if there's any disclosure of pecuniary interest. If at some point throughout the meeting you find that you do, please declare it at that time. We have no deputations, petitions, presentations, or public meetings. Unfinished business, I don't believe we have any. Other agency reports, and that brings us to the consent agenda. It is moved by Councillor Bray, seconded by Councillor Smith. Be it resolved that the Public Works section of Coordinated Committee hereby receives the May 11th, 2017 consent agenda items 4E through to 4G, and that all the recommendations contained therein be adopted. Is there anything anybody wanted to pull? I didn't have anything here, but okay. It really will be a 30-second meeting.
Thank you. Having heard the question, I'll call for the vote. Councillor Belanger,
In favor?
Councillor Ray,
In favor?
Councillor Ego,
In favor?
Councillor Smith,
In favor?
Mayor Smith,
In favor?
Councillor
In
Stockwell,
favor?
Chair by Fulci.
In favor?
Thank you. The motion carries on a vote of 7 in favor, 0 opposed.
Does that mean that the Public Works isn't doing anything?
And I believe
Doing everything.
we will recess for 5 minutes because I believe the next recording secretary is on her way. There's no point in us all running away again. So 5 minutes. Thank you, Cheryl.
Good job. Good job, Cheryl.
Yeah. I hope we didn't overwork you today.